You're watching Mc&T Sports Report on CHCO-TV. And now, here's two guys who will hibernate for the winter in the basement of the CHCO studios, Evan and Joe.
I'm Joe Ticotsky down in New Haven, Connecticut.
I'm Evan McFarlane here in St. Andrews, New Brunswick.
And you're watching episode 77 of Mc&T Sports Report on CHCO-TV, our first episode of season number 6.
And the great number of Paul Coffey.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. All right, now for our first big story of the episode, you, my friend, just returned from St. John and the PGA Atlantic Awards, where you were one of 3 finalists for the Apprentice Golf Professional of the Year. So congrats on that nomination.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's always a pleasure to get your name up in front of a group of that type of people. I mean, I haven't really been in the business very long, and going to these shows, you can learn so much. There's such a wealth of knowledge in that room, and yeah, just to get my name out there is massive for me. So I'm honored to have been a finalist for that award.
So your name wasn't already out there because of the show?
I mean, a couple people brought it up.
Okay. Hey, why do you do that kind of thing?
Yeah. Who's that old guy?
Yeah. All right. Our other big story is that CHCO is now being broadcast on every cable system in the province of New Brunswick, including Bell, Shaw, and Rogers. So you can live on Miscue Island, a mere 5.5 hours away from St. Andrews. Turn on your TV and see this award-winning show.
So there is no longer any excuses by anybody.
Not at all.
I've heard that a ton. Oh, we don't get you, but you do now. So step it up.
There you go. And for people that do want to watch it live or over the air, our hours we're on Monday, Wednesday, Friday at the prime time of 8 p.m. Atlantic. And then we're also on Tuesday and Thursday for the night owls or West Coast people at 11 p.m. Atlantic. So you have 5 chances to see us.
Perfect for anybody who can't sleep. I'm sure we can help.
After the break, we will talk to a rookie goalie from the Professional Women's Hockey League. And you're watching Mc&T Sports Report on CHCO-TV in St. Andrews. Welcome back to Mc&T Sports Report on CHCO-TV. Evan is away living the life of a rock star, or at least an Atlantic Canadian rock star. So coming out of the bullpen is my college roommate and the guy who does our show's openings from Los Angeles. Let's bring in Mark Asnavorian. Mark, welcome on.
Oh, thanks, Joe. Thanks for having me on, and I'm going to try to do my best to fill Evan's shoes today.
Yeah, things going well in LA?
Oh, it's beautiful weather. You know, things are good. I know it's getting a little cooler up there where you guys are. Cool here is 65 and sunny. Okay. So
nice. Yeah. By the way, nice job contributing to that street crime after the Dodgers won the World Series.
I'm kind of trying to keep my East Coast vibes going by beating up some people.
All right. Well, our first guest is from Ontario and was the 28th overall pick by the New York Sirens in the 2024 Professional Women's Hockey League draft. She's a graduate of Colgate University in upstate New York and was the 2021 ECAC Hockey Rookie of the Year. And in her junior year of college, her team tied then #1 state. And Mark, take a crack. How many saves do you think she made in that game?
Oh, wild guess, 48.
You are correct, sir.
Thank you.
All right, show off. Tell everyone what her guess at her college career record was in goal.
Well, I know Colgate had 4 winning seasons. I'm going 61-20. That's just around the same. Around there. Am I right?
Look at you. You read your cue cards perfectly. Good job. Good job.
You're the boss.
All right. Enough of this juvenile banter. Let's bring on the rookie goalie of the New York Sirens, Kayle Osborne. Kayle, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me.
All right. Now, when did you first lace up the skates to start playing competitive hockey?
Playing competitive hockey started from a pretty young age. We were kind of, especially being raised in Canada, everyone played on the pond growing up. So I had skates on since I was about 3-4 years old. And then I started playing competitively when I was about 6 or 7 years old.
All right. Now, what other sports did you play growing up?
I played lacrosse pretty heavily up until I was about 16 years old. I actually played lacrosse all through the summer, but being from Canada, it was box lacrosse I played. And once I got to be about 16, 17 years old, I had to make a choice whether I wanted to pursue hockey or lacrosse. So I chose hockey and gave up lacrosse. But yeah, I played hockey lacrosse from a very young age.
And is box lacrosse indoor?
Yeah, indoor lacrosse.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
All right, Mark, what do you got?
Kayle, before deciding to attend Colgate, what other colleges and universities did you consider? And then what made you ultimately choose Colgate?
I talked to a lot of schools in the WCHA and then also in the ECAC as well. And I think Colgate was actually the very first school I talked to in my recruiting process. And every school I visited, Colgate was kind of always in the back of my mind. When I first toured and I had Greg tour me in the summer with my mom when we went up, it just felt like home. And through the whole recruiting process, the coaches were super respectful and caring and always reaching out to make sure I had anything I needed, even though I wasn't committed there. So it felt like a family, and I wanted to stay close to home. And Colgate was one of the closest options for that, being only about 2.5, 3 hours from my house. So it was a great pick for me, and it just felt like home there. So that was what ultimately I wanted, and I had a great college experience there.
Wow. And speaking of college experience, what was your favorite place to play when you played a road game?
I think road game, actually, Princeton was one of the coolest places I played. I thought they always had like a fans. We normally played in like some kind of game, whether it was like a blackout or something like that. It was a really fun atmosphere to play in, and I like the small feel of the rink that they had.
All right. Now, you know the old trick with college visits, like Colgate, they never have you up in the middle of the winter. They always have you up in the summertime, right?
Oh, it's beautiful. The sun was shining. There wasn't a drop of snow on campus, and then January hit, and I didn't know what I got myself into my freshman year.
All right. Well, let's talk about the PWHL, the Professional Women's Hockey League. It's only the second year of the league, but certainly it comes at a great time for women's sports in regards to media coverage, attendance, and overall publicity. Currently, there's 6 teams in the league. It's even split, 3 in Canada, 3 in the U.S. You're a member of the New York Sirens. First off, is it true that as of this taping, you've still never been to New York City?
Yes, it actually is true. I've never been to New York City, and I played 4 years in New York State, and we never made the trip down. So I'm excited to experience New York City itself, but also really excited for Christmas in New York. I think I've heard it's done up really well, so I'm excited to experience that for the first time.
Mark how long did you live in New York for, Mark?
Oh, on and off for about 5 years. And Christmas time is the best time to visit New York. It's incredible. Very magical.
Try the hot dogs, the street hot dogs.
I'll be sure to stop by one of those on one of my days off.
Now, in the league, what do you think some of the biggest difference? I know you haven't played a game yet, but what are some of the big differences you think will be between college hockey and pro hockey?
I think everyone kind of saw in year one that this PWHL league is very physical, and obviously doesn't play as big a factor for me being a goalie, but I think the physicality in the league is much more and kind of loud than in NCAA hockey, and just the pace. You have the best players in the world coming down. It's a quick game, and I think that there's a step up from college when it comes to the pace of how this PWHL league plays, which is really cool to be a net for, but also watch for fans.
Yeah. Now, do you know why the team is called the Sirens?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of got released to the public already, so it just kind of embodies like New York, and I think it's really cool that they kind of brought it all together with through the name of the New York Sirens.
All right, Mark.
Now, Kayle, you're a rookie in the PWHL, but your college coach, Greg Fargo, is now also your coach on the Sirens. Is that a good thing, or were you kind of looking forward to playing for a new coach? And don't worry, probably won't.
I had a great 4 years with Greg, and he is an unbelievable coach, and even more than that, he's an unbelievable person. He's a super caring guy that it's not just about like his the game of hockey, but he cares about his players as people first, and I think that's really valuable in a coach. So I'm more than excited to be able to play under Greg Fargo again, because my 4 years he changed the way I saw the game and how I was able to play at that level. So I'm super excited to be playing for him again. And I think it would be cool to be drafted anywhere, but to be able to be drafted to New York and play under him again, I'm more than excited for.
Yeah, and it's also interesting. I mean, would you think his style would have to change between, Colgate and the pros, or is he going to be the same coach he was there?
I think that he'll tweak definitely a few things, but I think that his style of coaching is gonna majority wise remain the same, because I think he had success with that at the college level, and he's a fantastic coach, and I think he'll be able to adapt and tweak things just to bring it into that pro level. But I think he's gonna have a very bright future coaching in the PWHL.
All right, we'll hit you with a few quick questions before we get you out of here. Favorite NHL team growing up?
It's got to be Montreal Canadiens. I know that might be a hot take, me being from around Ottawa, but Carey Price played for the Montreal Canadiens, and I loved him growing up, and I've just been a Habs fan ever since.
All right, Mark, tell her who your lifelong fandom is with.
Well, I grew up in West Hartford, so the long lost Hartford Whalers. I've lived and died with them, and I'm very sad they're gone. They're now the
I actually had a Whalers jersey growing up that my mom bought me that I used to wear on the outdoor rig.
Everyone loves the logo. What's something about Kayle Osborne that most people would not know?
This one actually might be a little bit funny, but our college season ended about 8 months ago now. So we have had 8 months of an off season. And in the off season, I actually have been taking up cooking and baking specifically. So it was a little rough when we started, but I would say I'm a pretty good baker now.
Okay. What's your specialty?
I'm a big muffins person. I'm gluten-free, so I've been working on some gluten-free recipes.
Okay. Nice. You feel free to send them over, some of the finished products.
Yeah, I'll drop some off on my way down to New York this week.
All right. Well, she's Kayle Osborne, and this month she'll lace up the skates and put on the pads with the New York Sirens of the PWHL. They will join teams in Boston, Minnesota, Montreal, Toronto, and Ottawa, which will be fun for you. 32-game regular season followed by playoffs. The league website is thepwhl.com to find out more about the league, with where you can watch the games and rosters and all that info about it. So, Kayle, thanks so much for giving up some time in the preseason to come on the show, and best of luck on a successful and healthy season.
Thanks so much for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
And Mark, thank you for filling in also.
Loved it. I'll do it anytime.
There you go. But the show must go on. So after the break, we will head out to Prince Edward Island to talk to, yes, a 17-year-old fiddle player on Small Town Spotlight. You're watching Mc&T Sports Report on CHCO-TV. Welcome back to Mc&T Sports Report on CHCO-TV. For this episode of Small Town Spotlight, we head to Charlottetown, the capital and largest city on Prince Edward Island. With a population of around 40,000, the city has a full 25% of the province's overall population. And while Prince Edward Island is known for its beaches, its delicious PEI mussels, and for being the home of Anne of Green Gables, the province is also home to one of the world's most vibrant traditional fiddling cultures. It's estimated that over 2% of PEI's total population plays the fiddle, and our next guest is one of them. Only 17 years old, Luka Hall has been playing the fiddle since the age of 6. So let's welcome in one of Prince Edward Island's finest, Luka Hall. Luka, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, let's get rolling here. Now, you started playing the fiddle at age 6 when most kids are riding bikes around the neighborhood or playing sports, whatnot. What got you interested in playing the fiddle?
Actually, funny story. I never wanted to play the fiddle. I went into Long and McQuaid asking if I could learn the guitar, and then they gave me a good look, and they're like, "Oh, you were very small," so they I was kind of just given the smallest fiddle ever, and I basically stuck with it from there.
All right. Now, at what point did you sort of start thinking to yourself, I'm pretty damn good at this fiddle thing. I want to put a little more time and effort into it? Or did your mentors tell you that?
Um, I kind of thought I was getting pretty good when I started getting booked by like I did festivals, small halls, and started doing numerous Kayleys around the island. And so I usually thought I was like, oh, people are liking it. So
All right, now for our view, probably up there they know, but for our viewers in the States, tell them quickly what a Kaylee is.
A Kaylee is kind of like a big kitchen party, really. Most of the time there are like snacks there, and it's usually a stage is set up, and just musicians would play and give a good show for people, and lots of fiddle music, of course.
Okay, all right. Now you are currently in grade 12 in school. Quick shout out, Bluefield High School. Um, how often do you practice your music every day?
Usually I get home and instead of doing my schoolwork, I hop right on the guitar and fiddle, and usually I do that for about 2 to 4 hours a day.
Wow. Wow. All right. Now that sort of brings us into my next question. What other instruments do you play besides the fiddle?
Ooh, I played clarinet in my junior high band, and I later bought a alto saxophone and started teaching myself that. I play a little piano. I wouldn't call myself a piano player, but I can definitely play the piano. And again, I play the fiddle, guitar, electric guitars.
All right. Now, do you have preference electric guitar versus acoustic?
I think I like the acoustic way better just because there's more you can do with it, and I overall it's better with carrying with you. You can just take to a campfire instead of hauling a whole bunch of amps and stuff. So
There you go. My musical history involves playing the recorder in third grade, which everyone in third grade had to do, and that was it for me. Love music, but not good at it. Now, back to you in your genre of music there, traditional. Who are some of your favorite artists?
fiddle music wise, I like the band In Echo. My fiddle teacher is actually in that band, and I've learned lots of him, Carson McEwen. And Talisk is a great band, love them. And also like Mockin. They're a great band from PEI.
Okay. Now, did you mention when you would email me some of the stuff, the East Pointers?
The
Is that their
East
name?
Coast, they are incredible. They give fiddle music, like traditional music, and they also give singing, and they just give the both best of both worlds.
In terms of playing in concert, what are some of the favorite places that you've liked to play? That you have.
Um, I usually I've been back to the Shellfish Festival pretty much for the past like 5 years. I love playing at that venue.
Where's that held?
I'm just in Charlottetown. It's just before the Hillsborough Bridge.
Okay.
And I really loved my trip to play at the folk conference in Dundalk, Ireland, called Your Roots Are Showing. Me and Shane Pendergast, another local artist, played there, and it was just an amazing experience.
Okay. So you went to Ireland to play?
Yeah, just back in January.
Nice. Nice. They got to, how about a place or two you'd like to play?
Place I'd like to play. I'd say honestly, just anywhere off the island that would get me playing. I'd love that, but I know a lot of people do tours of like Australia, so it'd be cool to get there.
Okay. And the big one up there is Cavendish Beach in the summer. Is that
Yeah,
it?
big country concert here. It's great.
We got to get you on there. I got an idea. How about if you do some kind of thing where you're playing on the Confederation Bridge?
Ooh,
That would be awesome.
that's the idea.
8 mile ride over the bridge there.
Mhm.
Um, now you recently released two self-written songs. How long have you been writing songs?
I'd say about a year from like this month, only a year.
Okay. How do you find that going?
It's pretty good. It's hard to find inspiration sometimes, but I usually just like looking outside, and I get a lot of inspiration from like nature and everything.
Okay. So I was thinking maybe you could write a theme song for our show. We just use some generic pep things up a little bit. All right. Now you mentioned you're graduating in a couple months early. What's the plan for Luka Hall after you graduate high school? You looking at university or more career wise?
I'd probably aim towards more the career wise. I'll probably just keep focusing on writing and releasing more music, just getting out there to the world and expanding my audience, really.
Okay. Do you have an agent?
Nope, just me.
That's
And
good.
my
They'll take all your money anyway. Now, I always ask our guests that are on the show for their favorite non-chain restaurants in the area, just so people, if they're from out of the area and are in Charlottetown. You mentioned two, so go ahead and plug them.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's non-chain, but the local. I'm actually wearing their hoodie right now.
Okay, okay.
Local pub and oyster bar. I play there a lot too, and it has amazing food. I really like the Cajun pasta. If you go, eat the Cajun pasta.
Okay.
And,
I
the
always bust them on my friends up there that you guys pronounce it pasta and we pronounce it pasta.
Oh, okay,
There
pasta
you
and
go.
pasta.
There you
Yeah,
go. There you
I did
go.
not.
So yeah, the local, I looked that up. That looks awesome. And when that's not a chain, what's the other one? Because that one we're gonna have to send to our judges.
I'm honestly not sure what I listed, but there's
Pure
great.
and simple. Pure and
Oh
simple.
my gosh, yes, pure and simple. I went there for a kind of a brunch and it was so good. Huge portions. I had a great omelet. It was delicious. Best breakfast I've ever.
Okay. Now I looked that up and I start seeing the pull down menu of like how many they have. There's like 50 of them. And I always argue with my friends, but it's the only one in Prince Edward Island. So I don't really, I let that slide. And now, of course, what show would really be worth anything if it had on a musician and then didn't ask them to play something? So are you up? Do you have a fiddle handy?
Yeah, I have it right here.
All right. You up for playing a little bit?
Sure thing, always.
Now, is this just general or is it a specific song?
I'll play a little tune that I wrote. It's called the Harmony House Jig. It's the Harmony House is a theater out in Hunter River, hosts like absolutely amazing shows. They have a restaurant downstairs, beautiful venue. But yeah, this is I just recorded this little set, but this is one of the tunes in it. On the next
Here
EP,
we go.
should be out in about less than a month, I
All
hope.
right.
Yeah.
Luka Hall. Good stuff. Good stuff. And as we talked before on Zoom, it's obviously not recording studio quality. But yeah, that's impressive. And just so our viewers know, the way I got connected with Luka when I was up in Prince Edward Island for a few days after our camp, I saw there was a concert in Mont Carmel. Is that how it's pronounced?
Yeah, Mont Carmel.
Yeah, Mount Carmel, and there was a small sort of community center kind of place, and the MC and the first group that came out were all in French, so I had no idea what the hell they were talking about. I just laughed along when everyone else laughed, and then there were two dueling pianos who were pretty good, and then you came up last, and I was like, "Whoa, this kid is pretty." Not that I'm an aficionado at it, but it was pretty impressive. And then the two people with you was Shane one of them?
Yeah, Michael and Shane Pendergast.
Father and son, correct?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and it was really impressive. Some step dancers came on during the show, and yeah, and that's when I started looking you up and figured you'd be a good interview. Well, first you handle yourself very well in front of the camera, and like I said, I mentioned how there's some stat that says like 2% of the people in PEI actually play the fiddle. So it's quite a tradition, and I know it's probably tough carrying on the tradition, as you know, a lot of older people pass away. And it's interesting that people like you carry it on, and you've added the guitar playing and the singing. So we definitely will keep an eye on Luka Hall. And when you get big, don't blow us off when I contact you for an interview. Well, he's Luka Hall, 17-year-old fiddler extraordinaire from Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island. You can find out more about him by going to lukahallmusic.com. And you could also check out one of his new songs on Spotify. Luka, thanks so much for coming on the show, and best of luck on a long and successful musical career.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
And we're back. Great job by Luka. I mean, he's got such a bright future. You can see it. And T-shirt time. Is that a radio station that you had on that?
It was. It's this awesome radio station in New Orleans, WWOZ, the Guardians of the Groove, as they call themselves. Check them out online at wwoz.org or 90.7 if you're on your radio dial in the New Orleans or Jefferson Parish area, as they say down there. All right, quick shout outs. You have one, and then I'll finish up.
Yeah, mine's kind of broad. It's that time of year where all the golf courses are just locking their doors for the winter, and guys like me are getting a bit of rest. But yeah, shout out first off to all of the guys and ladies in the PGA Atlantic Association with me. It was awesome to catch up with everybody this past week. Everyone does such hard work. There's some really great golf in Atlantic Canada. And props to everybody for getting through the season. Also to the association for all the support that they give us, and to the members of all the clubs who make it happen. So you can really tell that I'm digging for more viewers in all of New Brunswick with this.
They're pandering. In my shout out, back in the mid 70s, I was a camper at a summer overnight camp in North Madison, Connecticut, Camp Laurelwood. And I worked there for 5 or 6 years. My brother and sister worked there. Their director, who's our director at the time, his name is Norman Feidelson, recently turned 100 back in October. And he's a retired school administrator, war veteran, college basketball referee, amazing guy. So happy 100th, Norm.
Yeah, congrats. That's amazing.
There you go. All right, well, that is it for episode 77 of Mc&T Sports Report. I'm Joe in New Haven.
I'm Evan here in New Brunswick.
Thanks to Patrick Watt and Florence Mitchell for producing and editing a show that's the favorite of centenarians throughout Canada and the United States. This is Mc&T Sports Report on CHCO-TV in St. Andrews.